following video is opinion-based. If you do not agree with what I say, then by all means leave your point of view below. Otherwise, fuck off. Oh, hey, how's it going, guys? Chris Venture here. Told you I'd be more consistent. So, without further ado, today's topic. Survivor Series being dropped, and predictions for Against All Odds. Figure I'm gonna change it up a little. You don't know what I'm gonna do, it's crazy! But first, we're getting to the question of the vid. That's where I ask you a question about wrestling, and I don't want a real answer, I want something funny. Be clever. And this one was sent in by Welcome to Havoc. The question, where is Homicide? The answer, he went to prison, beat up the baddest prisoner, and liberated him. I can see Homicide doing that. So, today's question of the vid. Remember, nothing real. I don't want any of that fucking intelligent shit on my channel, alright? What is Vince McMahon gonna replace Survivor Series with? My bet, he's gonna replace it with 3 hours of him waxing John Cena's man nipples. What do you guys think? Alright, now to get serious. Or as serious as I'm gonna get. First, I'm gonna weigh in on what's the deal with dropping Survivor Series. Now, seeing as how I don't order any WWE pay-per-views unless it's WrestleMania, because quite honestly nothing happens on any of them, I personally not really bummed about Survivor Series being dropped. Like, buy rates are down, granted it's because pay-per-views are a ridiculous price nowadays, and quite honestly the product I personally think is terrible. And I hold WWE to a little bit of a higher standard, considering they're the major organization and everything. They should be putting on a better product, which I feel they're not. But that's just my opinion, obviously. But feel free to throw yours there out at me. Quite honestly, there's not much more to say. You know, it sucks for nostalgic value, but in the overall theme, Survivor Series any different really than, I don't know, Elimination Chamber, TLC? Nope. Alright, now to the other part. Predictions for Against All Odds. You see, I'm gonna try this with TNA pay-per-views, or at least the ones I'm able to make it to. I'll give you my predictions and my reviews, sort of like ROH style, sort of why I'm putting it as a video response. For the most part, I'm loving the idea of a tournament. I like tournaments, and quite honestly, they put some good wrestlers in here, save for Abyss and Foley. I feel like they could have replaced those two slots with better participants, but I'll get to that. I'm gonna go through this quick just to save time and shit, because those long-winded. Anyway, we're gonna have the first round is Pope versus Wolf, Hernandez versus Morgan, Angle versus Anderson, and Abyss versus Foley. Now, Pope versus Wolf, I personally I like both wrestlers, but I feel like Pope is gonna come out on top in this one simply because he's way fucking over. However, Wolf is a good wrestler, and it'd be interesting to see him win, and then eventually, and at the finals, have Wolf versus Angle, and have Wolf finally get that win over Angle, which he's been sort of chasing on and off since he made his debut. Hernandez versus Morgan. I see Matt Morgan going over here, because there was talk about pushing Morgan as a singles competitor, and just overall, I feel he's a little more over than Hernandez. Not that Hernandez is a bad wrestler, it's just Matt Morgan's he's got a little more of the look, the charisma. Angle versus Anderson. Personally, I want Mr. Anderson to win this match. I dig Mr. Anderson, Mr. Kennedy, whatever he's called. Angle is a great wrestler and everything, but I don't want him winning this tournament because I don't want to see the strap on him, because he puts on a good match whether or not he has the belt, and quite honestly, the belt needs to be on the younger guys. Angle's good for putting people over, but the title needs to be on an AJ Styles or a Samoa Joe or something, Desmond Wolfe. But I see Angle coming out on top in this match, if not this tournament. Abyss vs. Foley. Now, like I said, I wasn't really digging on these two being there. Like, Abyss vs. Foley, we've seen it done as a hardcore match, which is, for the most part, like, they're their thing, so it would be a decent match if it was hardcore. As a tournament, straight wrestling match, I'm not too excited about it, although I like both wrestlers. I like Abyss, I like Mick Foley. I really like Mick Foley, he's one of my favorite wrestlers. But overall, I find it just like a throwaway match, although I see Abyss coming out on top in this match, simply because like there's really no need for Foley to progress at all in the tournament, because even if he wins this match, he'll lose the next one. I personally could see Anderson winning against Angle in some cheap way and then versing Abyss, sort of continuing and putting an end to their feud. That's all I've got to really say about the tournament matches. The next match is the Nasty Boys versus Team 3D. Does anybody really care about this match? Like, I like Team 3D and everything, and I'm pulling for them and everything, but this match, like, I don't know. I personally am not too thrilled about this match. Just the Nasty Boys, there's really no point to them being here. They're not over. The heat they're getting is not because they're heels, it's because nobody really wants to see them anymore. At least that's how I feel like it's going about. Well, that's it. I don't see it being like a showstopper in any way. I personally hope Team 3D comes out on top, just because everybody wants to see Team 3D come out on top. This brings us to the main event. AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe, with Eric Bischoff as the special guest referee. It would have been better as a straight one-on-one match, but then they gimmick it up with Eric Bischoff as the referee. I don't know, I'm not feeling the special ref part. Otherwise, I can see it being a great match, very entertaining. The crowd's going to be really into it. Overall, the pay-per-view is going to be fun. I'll be there live, so my review of it might be a little jilted because I'll have a more emotional investment. That's sort of how I review things and how I feel watching it, because watching it live and on TV to me are two different things. You get much more into it because the crowd mentality and everything going on around you. But I'll let you know my review after the show tomorrow night. Until then, catch you guys later. Psst, please subscribe. I need viewers and hugs.